Hello everyone, this is Faheem Jackson and this is episode 137 of my podcast show In the Know. This podcast is aimed at trying to guide people through the world with a variety of topics. Each season there will be a particular group of topics to cover. Within these topics I am asking questions and trying my best to answer these questions from my viewpoints of the world around me. The following episode introduction speech is for the topic of today. And that introduction speech is why exercising daily is going to benefit you from the perspective of feeling good and looking good. Throughout the week, I go to the gym and lift weights. I do lower body then upper body. And then I take off either in between the week or on the weekends. You should be working out consistently throughout the week, not just because of the health benefits, but also in a way in which it makes you feel. Your clothes will start to fit a certain way. People will start to take notice of how you look. That feeling is a feeling like none other you have ever felt before. The look that is given to you when your progress is recognized. It is further confirmation that you have been doing something right, and it is the motivation you need to keep going. We like to think that it's all about health and wellness, but not really. We don't like to admit it, but we enjoy the compliments. So sit back and enjoy the show as I discuss feeling good from daily exercise. So like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. What is exercise? A definition of what exercise is a bodily movement which aims to maintain and enhance physical fitness and wellness. So there are a wide array of things that contribute to exercise. You could be going to the gym every day and lift weights, but also walk a mile to work. These are both examples of exercises, and I will speak on more exercises that will be beneficial later in the episode. For now, I will continue to elaborate on what exercise is, because in order to understand what it is, then you can move on to target key areas of the body that benefit from exercise. And here's where you go into strength training, which will give your body definition. Here's yet another statement, which I will cover in depth later in the episode. But as we move into the next topic, we have to ask ourselves a question. Is exercise something that is a man-made thing, or is exercise something that we have no choice but to an extent do on our own? So let's go into that. Is exercise an invention? Let's break down this idea of exercise. Was it something that is man-made, or is it something natural to us that we do automatically? To me, exercise is a natural bodily function, yet the modern-day exercises we perform are more of an innovation. Targeted areas of the body with equipment that we have come to create, which builds off of muscles we work naturally. What does that mean? It simply means we work construction throughout the human history, and then you see someone with strong legs and arms. The worker is always bending and lifting. So we simply create the deadlift, the lunge, and then the bend over rows, as well as a host of other exercises. So with that said, exercise is not an invention. It can't be. The human experience is an exercise. You have to walk to the bus stop, you're exercising. The bus drives by and stops at the route, you have to run. Now you're really getting an exercise. Your children are toddlers and reach up to be carried. You pick them up, that's exercise. So, exercise, an invention? No. Innovation? Well, of course. Where in the world did it start? I just proved that exercise is not a creation but more natural. So there's no place we can truly say where exercise started. That is a loaded question simply because exercise started everywhere. From the moment our civilization started being built, we were exercising. As a matter of fact, the Neanderthals were a very well-built group of species. They hunted and built with their hands and dragged the meat of what they killed, even miles. This is an exercise in itself. But this was in the present-day Africa, Europe area. What about Asia, Australia, and the Americas? Well, the same thing existed in these places as well, because humans ventured out into other parts of the world and built civilizations, the same as these Mediterranean environments. So as I said before, exercise took place all over the world. Now, as we innovated and created equipment in order to build further in society, we became less physical. And moving into the future today, we're becoming less physical. But let's observe for a second the popularity of exercising. When did exercise grow in society? See, in the 1940s and 50s, bodybuilding was a competition that became something somewhat popular. But it wasn't until the 1980s when physiques became something that was more popularized. It was shown in magazines, televisions, and movies. Here's when certain names became even more popular to the point that bodybuilders appeared in popular culture. So from here on is when exercise became a little more popular, coming through the 1990s. Fitness competitions continued until social media came about, and now bodybuilders could have their own internet platforms. This is where I go into the next section. How did exercise become commercialized? From a commercialized standpoint, exercise became commercialized once there was a way in which the masses could be monetized from. Because exercise from a popularity point of view in regards to the fan base has been around for decades, but people were not reaching in their wallets and paying. As a matter of fact, decades ago, over 60 years ago, doctors actually linked too much cardiovascular work to disease. It was called athlete's heart. Isn't that shocking? And yet smoking was not a problem. Yet when celebrities started to grace the covers of magazines, and for men's fitness, for instance, then it was a recognizable face. Now here's when the money comes in. Exercise is introduced into all facets of our popular culture. Let's not forget about all the companies that were created for supplements and fitness equipment. With what has been stated, what should we be doing on a daily plan for exercising in the gym? How many days should you exercise? This section of the episode is not going to be that long because, in my opinion, it depends upon what works for you. For me, I try to get in about 4 or 5 days per week of training. For you, you could easily get a good workout at about 3 days per week. Now, I say for 3 days, have a good vigorous workout for those 3 days. Have a good balance of upper and lower body workouts. And when you're someone that will be exercising, then what are some of those workouts? What are some beneficial workouts? I talked about some exercises that people could perform in previous episodes for health and wellness segment. For the upper body work, you could perform when exercising. The following are some good workouts. Grab a small barbell, straight barbell, that is, attach the bar to one of the upper body machines that is part of the multi-purpose station. Then set the weight at the station to begin your workout. Now you can perform this workout in a number of ways. Grab the bar, stand straight up with your back slightly curved, then bring the bar down so that the weight lifts up on the station. Another exercise from the multi-purpose station is the row workouts. Grab yourself a mini hand bar or a semi-long barbell and attach it to the station. Adjust the weight so that you want to limp, then prepare for your workout. While seated, you pull back the hand bar on the barbell until your back flexes as the weights lift from the station. More of the beneficial workouts are a pull-up station. You could walk away from the pull-up station and grab some dumbbells to perform curls. Dumbbell presses lying on a bench, or even shoulder shrugs. As for the lower body, you have sitting leg extension machines, and another machine where you bring the bar down and work your hamstrings. You also have the squat station where the barbell has weight plates placed on each side. Then you place your neck area against the middle of the barbell. Pull the barbell from the station, squat down as low as possible, then back up again. A final leg workout would be the leg press machine. Now this is the last workout that I would talk about. But don't be misled. There are a plethora of workouts you can perform that are upper and lower body. But what should the person exercising consume for the nourishment of their bodies? What are some foods and beverages you should consume? As for the foods and beverages that we put into the body in order to get the most gains, goes as follows. When observing the proteins that we need, try going to the grocery store and buying yourself some ground beef and chicken breast. Then cooking ground beef, try not to use too much oil and seasoning in the pan. As for chicken breast, I like to place them on my griddle. You can put them inside of an oven. As for the seafood, this is also a good source of protein as well. I myself like to eat tilapia, shrimp, and salmon. Use limited seasoning with this meal as well because the sodium already exists within seafood when you purchase it. As for the vegetables we should be eating, there's carrots, corn, beans, black-eyed peas, cabbage, collard greens, tomatoes, broccoli, celery, and squash. For the fruits that you should be eating, there are the apples and oranges and bananas and grapes, kiwi, strawberries, watermelons, mangoes, cherries, and pears. As for the carbohydrates we want to consume, those are the breads, wheat, oats, grains, beans, potatoes, cereal, white and brown rice, pasta, and of course nuts. For the beverages, you can always go with the best choice, which is water. And there are juices, but try not to overjuice simply because the sugars are not good for you. As for fitness, we have spoken a lot, but what about places to go and lift? What are some places to go to exercise? As for a fitness location, I've spoken about this in the past. The place I first went when I came to New York City was the YMCA. Afterward, I went off to Planet Fitness, where I was at for about 2 years. Then the pandemic happened and I ended up going to a place called Blink Fitness. Here's a location I will be for quite some time until I'm able to afford something better later. The next place I want to go is a place called Equinox Fitness. Now, Equinox is a quite expensive place, but it is more of a luxe location. There are a lot more choices than the place I go now. And you have dry cleaning and even a shopping center. Having a clubhouse for buying apparel is great for me because now I can purchase clothes that keeps me in close contact with the place where I'm going. Will you catch attention from others? Trust and believe, once you get into the gym and you will have people take notice of how hard you work, especially if you ever decide to take your shirt off and run around the neighborhood. People will be observing you, like, where did this guy come from and how did he get such a nice physique? Don't also be surprised when people come up and ask you about your regimens. And please, be sure to share it with them. I remember this past summer I was out running, and to me, I don't see it. I just see myself as someone who has worked out. But I guess to other people, they see it. You sort of get used to yourself as you exercise and gain weight, or even lose weight if you need be. And as you walk around society, people take notice. What does this do for the person on a psychological level? Because it's not all about the physical, but good feelings internally as well from working out. How does this all affect the mental? We don't like to observe the aspects of life where people feel good mentally from exercising. And a lot of times, how people react to you make you feel a certain way. Especially in a mating and dating market, you are able to have more options and room for selection. Here's what creates the confidence that allows you the ability to step into the world and communicate with people. I can speak for myself, and I will tell you something important. The results give you this new level of confidence. It's because you're actually among a small group of people who are fit, unlike most Americans. So with all that has been stated in this episode, what have I learned from this episode? And what can I share with all of you? So, what have I learned? What I've learned so far on my weightlifting journey is that you will not only feel better, but others will take notice. For starters, I remember when I was first starting to go to the gym, my legs were tight because I had been out for a long period of time. But before that, my toes at the bottom had this weird tingling feeling. And that came from me not eating healthy on top of not exercising. A lot of this came from me being depressed and anxious as well. Now that life is getting better. I'm feeling better in my 30s than my 20s. Hopefully, life in my 40s is even better. And I'm sharing this with the hopes you will follow my path and get yourself right in the fitness areas of your area of your life. I know it's with people who listen to me. They're the ones that won't. And if you are one of those people that won't, listen, I guess this isn't for you. But for the people who are open, I hope you find this episode to be helpful. So with this show wrap up, well, we have to ask ourselves the questions why exercising makes you feel good. See, in this episode, I wanted to observe how one should feel as it pertains to the exercise. I don't know about you, but I feel good after a good exercise. And to be honest, some days I don't even want to go to the gym. I've spoken about this in prior episodes, but today is more about the internal feeling you get from the external results. You should have these types of emotions within. You have put in the work and should be proud. Yet let's not forget about the confidence you get from others' reactions towards your work as well. So thanks for listening to In the Know. And I'll be bringing you another episode regarding fitness and wellness, and that is getting back in the gym after taking off for a lengthy period of time.